This is verse 17 of the 20th chapter, Gospel of John. We have that remarkable moment in which Jesus has said the name Mary to Mary Magdalene, who was there in front of the tomb, and she, in a flash of recognition, understands who it is she's dealing with here. And the implication is that she fell down and probably grasped his ankles or his feet or some such thing. And that gives rise to this very interesting response. We have lege from Lego, I say, so third person singular, present active indicative, he says, aute, feminine, pronoun, dative, singular. So he says to her, subject, Jesus, says to her. Me is the negation, used with non-indicative moods. Here we're going to have the imperative. Not mu is the pronoun in the genitive, but it also is the object of haptu, which takes the genitive. Haptu is from haptomai, deponent verb. It is translated usually touch in the King James, but the sense of the word could be either to touch something or to hang on to it, to fixate on it. There's another Greek word, krato, which means to grasp something, usually in the sense of against the will of that thing, to hang on to it in a kind of, with a certain degree of malice, you might say, is implied. This doesn't have that notion. It's probably the reason this more infrequently used verb is applying here. Seems to be simply saying that Jesus is warning Mary that there's other business to be about. She can't just be here hanging on to him, that ultimately he needs to be ascended, but right now the business at hand is to go and declare this great news to the disciples. So we have upo. Upo is an indeclinable adverb. It means not yet. For not yet, postpositive gar. Anabebika. This is from anabino. It means to go up. This is the first person singular perfect active indicative. I have not yet gone up, and that gives the interpretation, I think, of this do not cling to me its proper sense. There is something more that needs to happen. In a sense, this is a warning that is saying that the present situation of Jesus resurrected for sure has not yet reached its culminating expression, which is going to be realized in his ascension. That is his ascension to his throne, his ascension to his rule over the universe. That all is yet to take place, and so she can't even hang on to this moment, really, because there's still more good things to come. So I have not yet gone up. Anabino pros, preposition, takes the accusative tone patera. I have not yet gone up to the Father. I haven't gone to that situation of ascension. Peruo from peruomai. This is in the present. It's the imperative. So go. Second person singular. De, postpositive. Pros, same preposition. To takes the accusative. Here the plural. Tus adelphus. To the brothers. This is a rather remarkable idea. There's been a kind of elevation of the status of the disciples now to a much more intimate situation, which is implied immediately by the fact that the work of the atonement has been accomplished. So go to the disciples, mu, the possessive pronoun, to my disciple, or my brothers, I should say. Go to my brothers. Kai epa, this is the imperative, it's second person singular, and say to them, the dative singular, or dative plural, of the pronoun, the third person pronoun. So go to my brothers and say to them, anabino, I am going up. Present active indicative here, first person singular. I am going up. That is a reference to the ascension. Pros, third use of that preposition, to tone patera mu, to the Father of me. I'm going to my Father, and then he adds kai patera humon, and your Father. He doesn't say I'm going up to our Father, because there is, of course, a distinct difference between the sense in which God is the Father of Christ in that Trinitarian situation, and that God is the Father of us through Christ. And so he makes that distinction, but nevertheless, it is a remarkable idea that he's going to our Father, and that there is that realization that God is, in some sense, through the work of Christ, our Father, And then, of course, adding Kai Theon Mu, and the God of me, Kai Theon Humon, and the God of you. I'm going to my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God. And again, this my God here is taking us back into the great mystery of the Trinity, where there is a co-equality between the Father and the Son. And yet, in that sense, it's perfectly legitimate for Christ, the second person of the Trinity, to call God his Father and to call him his God. And yet, through that atoning work, we also are brought in and can call God our God. So Jesus is sort of giving a sense here that something dramatic has changed, that the work of the atonement has brought about a new situation of the connections between those who are the followers of Christ and God the Father, and that is really signaled by the way in which he gives this announcement to Mary at this point.